Hello everyone, my name is Joshua. This is the 118th video of my video journal series. Today's date is Saturday, the 6th of June, 2026. How's everyone been? I've been pretty good, thank you. And obviously I've been uploading this video journal series for a couple of months now, and you may have guessed or may have noticed that, due to my, rapid uploads, that you may think this is AI. Well, this video journal series is not AI. If that pops up into your head, I'm not an AI, I'm not a robot, which is something that AI would say. But one way I can prove that I'm not AI, because, this question will eventually prop up when you get, comments. I haven't gotten any comments yet, but, when you get comments saying, is this AI generated? How could someone blab on for, 30 minutes every single day? Well, this video journal series isn't AI, and I can prove it to you, because AI has just been on my mind recently. I've been doing a couple of, AI interviews, jobs and all that. It's so annoying. I'd rather just speak to an actual, human being about a job. I don't want, robots determining that sort of thing. But, one way I can prove that I'm not AI is because I stutter. I do stutter a lot. I mispronounce words. I pronounce words in a very peculiar way. I can go fast and I can go very slow like this. Whenever I'm speaking, I can take long gaps. I can do all of that sort of thing. Like AI can't really, really display certain features like fingers correctly. I have 5 fingers, each hand. All this, measures to prove that I'm human. And that's point of this video journal series, to have a realistic human chat with you, the audience, to have a realistic conversation. You're not gonna, deliver a speech or whatever to 1,000 people. Well, maybe technically this is, if it gets 1,000 hits on YouTube, but it's not a formal speech or anything. I could just sit on this couch and talk to you guys. And obviously I won't use AI in any of my videos. I don't use AI on my main channel. I don't use AI ever, because AI is basically taking a Wikipedia article, copy and pasting without citations, because it doesn't acknowledge the original citations of the source, reference of the source, or whatever. I don't use AI on my thumbnails, and if you think this video is AI generated or whatever, then you are wrong. And if you go back to my first video in the series, you'll be able to clearly see all my stuttering and all that. Something which AI cannot replicate. And I think, if we have to take advantage of this whole AI thing, if we can overcome it, we can really display our human imperfections and really display to, the world and whoever you're showing it to, I don't know, that, we're human. We make mistakes. Sometimes human imperfections show, a lot more, I don't know, what would you call it, craft in a product, every single video I made in this video journal series has a slightly different angle. Sometimes I put the camera a little bit further back, sometimes I tilt it up, sometimes you can see this mini poster over here, sometimes you can't. I'm always wearing different clothes, I've got different outfits. To prove to you that I'm not AI, that I'm not a robot, boop, boop, beep. I'm not a robot. And I speak to you about real human struggles which AI can't really replicate, You've definitely seen those AI ads. It's a bladesmith is, selling his entire collection, or you got that AI grandma off YouTube. I just hate those, AI slop. AI slop just reminds me of my dreams sometimes, where it's very lucid and nothing really makes any sense. That is AI slop, and I despise it. Despise AI slop, alright? And, I feel now a lot of people just want someone to talk to, a real human, Before we were complaining about call centers and all that, just trying to get a hold of someone instead of going to one of those auto chat bots or whatever. But now it's AI, and just we just hate everything that's AI powered now. At least I hate everything that's quote unquote AI powered, because it just means getting rid of human resources and just putting these machines in place. All right, AI has its uses, but completely replacing humans with AI, it's not going to work. All right, it's just completely inappropriate, and it's just see these pauses that I'm taking to think about something. It's not the computer stuttering. It's me actually thinking about something. I'm just thinking about the fact that nowadays, right, if we just think of AI, I guess more generally, some people just turn to AI to talk to because they feel lonely, and that's just really, really sad. Um, and I guess me criticizing AI just proves that I'm not AI unless I'm hidden behind a mask. I'm like Doctor Who villain, just unpeel my mask and I'm like a robot. No, certainly not. This is real human flesh. But anyway, that sort of thing. And AI interviews, AI chatbots, just I guess, really highlight, I guess, why we need humans. Like the failures of AI and all that just really highlight why we need human support. Um, like I don't want to speak to a freaking chatbot that just keeps on going around in circles. Or whatever. I just want to speak to a human. Or just like a Reddit post from like 12 years ago, which were like, or like a game facts post, Reddit or game facts, like the sacred scriptures of trying to find help online, like you see that 12-year ago tag, deleted user, and it says, it answers your exact question, and you got like comments saying, oh, this worked, thank you. Like, it's always worked for me. I don't know why. AI could be really useful in trying to find sources with citations and all that, but still in development. I believe it's got some very serious merit to it, but it's like trying to use a hammer as a one-and-all tool. Hammer has very specific purposes. If you use it for its specific purpose, it does a fantastic job. But if you use a hammer, right, and put some paint on it to make a painting, you're gonna end up creating a very, very bad painting. Imagine, using a hammer instead of a paintbrush. You just whack it. Why is there holes everywhere in the canvas? Obviously you won't do that. So why are you going to use AI to completely substitute humans? Trying to use a chainsaw to cut your steak. It's just overkill. It's not appropriate whatsoever. You just do more damage than good. So yeah, that's my analogy of AI. I can kind of close that book though. Might want to flip through the chapters and just say that this video journal series is proudly not made using AI. I would never ever use AI to generate thumbnails, to generate, I guess, video or stills or whatever, because to me that is kind of plagiarism. It's not acknowledging where the original source came from, because AI collates a bunch of resources together, and they it's just it's like copy and pasting a Wikipedia article without citations. And hopefully, this video journal series will take off and all that. But it's supposed to be, an archive, and I guess the time which I upload these videos sort of differs as well. So it's not at that constant time or whatever. And just whenever I just go on YouTube, I just see a lot of those AI ads, and it just really infuriated me. Just that general AI slop. And hopefully, this AI slop can come to an end. I think a lot of people are really fed up with it. And to me, it'll sort of go all the way up the .com bubble, where hopefully we can eradicate AI slop, it's like people talking now about making like entire movies using AI. Well, no one will see those movies. Look at what Disney's doing, right, with their movies. Not AI, but like, they're constantly remaking the same stuff. They're just making stuff that nobody wants. Or like, they only cater to like a specific crowd, but like, none of their fans really want this. And, like they're losing money at the box office. Disney, make original ideas to risk it. They keep on, like, just doing stuff that works just for money, but people are starting to, like, punch back sort of thing. That's just Disney. It's going to apply to all the major film studios when they just re-release a film that nobody asked for, or they just do something which nobody asked for, Like, that sort of thing. So I wouldn't reckon AI movies won't really, I guess, take off in that instance. And yet again, it will be plagiarism. It's like watching 2 hours of AI slop. Nobody's going to pay to watch that. Just like the Melania movie, nobody's going to pay to watch it if nobody demands it. And just I guess if we have to learn one lesson from AI, it's, I guess, humans are, yes, lonely creatures as well. Like a lot of people, sometimes myself, we just go to chatbots just to play around with it. But some people just go to chatbots for like mental health advice, relationship advice, and all that. And obviously, if you are someone who is, I guess, struggling with mental health and whatever, just speak to a human. Just speak to a human. Don't rely on chatbots. But some people, they have to rely on chatbots, which is very, very unfortunate. And yet again, if you are someone, I will leave, just you with a piece of advice. Just talk to a human, right? Just talk to whatever medical, um, you know, hotlines are available and all that. Just speak to a real human being. All right, speak to a real human being who understands your emotions. Um, don't speak to just AI chatbots don't have the same complexity and feelings as a human being. That's all I can say. Um, and I don't want to make this video dark or anything, but it is something I've been noticing in our society, and I feel like AI has really, I guess, highlighted that, and hopefully we can fund more towards mental health schemes and initiatives, and really, I guess, building up social skills within young people, and really fixing that sort of thing, because like I've been arguing, AI doesn't have the same complexities as a human being. It doesn't have the imperfections of a human being. If you cannot be perfect and a human being at the same time, maybe except Jesus, but except maybe Jesus and other religious figures who have embodied themselves as human. You can't be human and really be perfect. You know, and that's how humans learn from things. AI learns by just grabbing sources from random places on the internet, putting it together. Humans learn via, a react. Like, we learn in various different ways. We don't learn in a single way like AI does. We learn in various ways. Life lessons, books, media, personally getting the pension, learning from that. We learn in various different ways and in various different, like, velocities and all that, and I think that's really should be embodied in our society. But yet again, though, like, I think AI, the only quote unquote good that this whole AI craze has really been generated is just highlight its negative effects, really. Highlight why we shouldn't transition to fully automated stuff. You always going to need that human element, all right? You always going to need that human element. And like I said, that's just my, I guess, opinions on AI. I know this video started off as just like me saying this is an AI generated, but it's something that I'd be really bit passionate about. And yet again, though, it's just it's just kind of annoying. And yet again, I'm still searching for jobs and all that. Still keeping myself busy with stuff. Yet again, Supernova is 2 weeks away from now, which I can't wait for. And yeah, just I guess to really conclude with things, yet again, this video journal series is not made using AI. I will never, plagiarize things. Like whenever I'm just archiving something else, I clearly attribute who I'm archiving. To me, plagiarism is basically stealing something and not accrediting where you got it from. And I feel like AI slop is kind of like that. Obviously deepfake technology has existed for quite a while, and but I think AI slop is just unlike deepfakes, which is actually edited by humans. AI slop is just utter garbage. It's like like the Candyland, right? It's like a hyperfixated Candyland where it just seems too not perfect, because AI stuff has a lot of imperfections, but it just seems like too glossy and too bright and colorful. It's just being forced with basically happiness, or being forced with just an artificial image that just makes you feel like utter crap, or it's just like it just feels so disauthentic. You know what I mean? Like it's just just utter bogus. And who knows where AI will go in 20 years? Who knows where computers and technology will go and all that? If you really look in the last 20 years, I mean, like if you look at I guess technology 20 years ago, stuff like iPhones and all this like AI technology, they were like in its infancy. AI didn't even exist back then, you know? Deepfakes were impressively made by hand, or by editing software, sorry. You know, like if you look at phones back then, they were just so tiny and the storage was so tiny. But if you look at like PS3 graphics, like in 2006, you'll notice that between PS3, PS4, and PS5, there's not really much a leap. Obviously, like graphics have improved and all that. It's not as big of a leap as it was between like the Super Nintendo and PS1. You know what I mean? Where you go from like 2D to 3D. Like PS3 and PS4 was like a slight increase. Obviously, PS3 and PS5 is like a noticeable increase, but it's not like really, I guess, quote unquote, groundbreaking in a sense. Meanwhile, if you look at other pieces of technology like smartphones, which have really just been like, you know, just been rapidly worked on over these last couple of like years and decades, they've just like gone from like this simply little like this little device to like just becoming this like, you know, just this powerful machine in your phone that's like on par with like computers basically, where before it was like inferior to computers. So that's something interesting about technology. And yet again, like if I had to predict anything 20 years from now with technology in mind, AI is likely here to stay. I doubt that, you know, the full AI takeover will eventuate. You know, yet again though, it'll be like kind of how like we use websites nowadays and search engines. It will gradually improve, but it's not going to replace that human creative output. That's all I can guarantee you. It will not replace that human creative output. Um, you know, I guess smartphones will eventually peak at a certain point where, like, you know, the development smartphones and all that have like reached a peak, and there's not really much improvement. So I can estimate in like 20 years' time, smartphones are going to be better, but it's not going to be as big of an improvement as it was between maybe 2007 to 2026 or 2027 as it is between 2026 and 2046. Maybe I'm wrong about that, you know? Maybe I'm wrong about the peak of smartphones. You know, just how like with video game technology, in terms of graphics, we have like, you know, obviously I guess slowed down a bit. You know, like the jump from like 2D to 3D was like, pretty big. But now with like 3D, we're obviously like revising it. But can you really tell the difference between PS4 and PS5 graphics anyway? You can certainly tell the difference between PS1 and PS2 or Super Nintendo PS1, but not really you know, PS4 and PS5. So that's like my sort of analogy, you know. Smartphone graphics aren't necessarily going to improve. Smartphones basically still going to do the same functions as it did, you know, here in 2026 as it's, you know, going to do in 2046 hopefully. But you know, I just think smartphones and AI technology and all that will peak at a certain rate. Yet again, I might be completely wrong. Don't take this as like advice or anything. It's just my prediction. But you know, obviously, who knows what new technologies will be around in 2046? Would it be like a completely new thing like AI, which is gonna like threaten human creativity and then that sort of thing? Because people, you know, they said, oh, you know, the .com, you know, like websites are gonna kill out like small businesses and all that, like the internet, you know, like video killed the radio star, you know, sort of thing, where, you know, the invention of televisions was going to kill out radio. Well, that didn't happen. Radio's still prevalent now, especially with podcasting and all that. You know, radio's still kicking on stronger than ever. You know, like DVDs and CDs were going to kill out cassettes and vinyl. Well, no, vinyl's still around. You know, obviously VHS not really anymore, but you know, I guess if you got like I can't really predict this, but yet again, if like, you know, obviously AI is going to be here to stay, but it won't replace that fundamental human creative thought, you know, that human creative machine, that little cogs in your brain. It won't replace that. And yet again, no, sorry, I don't really have a segment to end this with. It's just, you know, me ranting about AI. Old man yells at cloud sort of thing. But hopefully this video does bring some authenticity to the series. And yet again, though, yeah, I'm just really interested to see where technology goes from 20 years time. I'm really thinking about the year 2046. I know I keep on saying it, but you know, I don't know what will happen by the time I turn like 39 when I, you know, end this. And you know, I mean, being in your 40s, depends on what the context is, it is relatively quote unquote young. If you're running for president, prime minister, you're considered young anyway. Um, and yeah, like honestly, I'm just very interested. And obviously, I'm still continuing on with my projects and all that. I was thinking of making like a video time capsule, just record a video of me and then keep it for like 20, 50 years or something like that. Maybe not 20, because this video journal series is already like a 20-year time capsule. But like, I'm thinking of maybe like recording myself and just like keeping that video secret for like 20, 30, 40, 50 years or whatever. At least within a reasonable time frame before my like predicted quote unquote death or whatever, like by the time I turn 80 or 90 or whatever. Um, you know, so yeah, I've been thinking about doing that. Obviously, the earlier I can do that, I guess the better. But yet again, I want to do something that's a little bit interesting, I want some video time capsule. YouTube is a video time capsule, kind of think about it. So, yeah, I'm always experimenting with new projects, and luckily I've just hit like the beginning, quote unquote, of my 20s. So it gives me a lot of time to start thinking about long-term projects and really see that like growth and development. Um, and yet again, though, like, it's crazy to think that, the last 10 years have flown by very fast. Even the last 7 years, I still remember 2019, it feels like yesterday. And, 2020 happened and it just gone by incredibly fast. But anyway, that's enough of me blabbing. I don't want to go too off the rails. But anyway, that's enough of me talking. I'll catch you all next time. Bye, see ya, take care. Have a great one.